Hi, welcome back to Guessagaingaming, and today I'm going to be playing, or at least talking about, and playing to a point, a game called Kingdoms of Amalur Re-Reckoning. If you don't know anything about the game, it's not a new game. It first came out, I think, in 2012-2013, but it's not long ago, like last year, had a graphics upgrade and a new DLC. And more than that, it's a game that I played probably more than any other game I've ever played when I first got it. It's the first game I played a lot on PS3. I played this ridiculous amount of times. I played it through to the end ridiculous amount of times. It's a game I know really, really well. And it's a game that I think anyone who's not played should take a look at if you like this kind of game. And I will kind of explain why as I go on. So I'm just going to continue from where I left off in my last playthrough, because I'm not going to do a specific mission in this, at least not in this video. So the first thing I'd say about this, if anyone is looking at games to play, and the fact it's from 2013, is people might look at it and think, well, it's an old game. Yes, it's an old game, but I would say that because of the art style and the way it's done, it's not dated. I'm not saying that in the context of graphically with the HD level or the pixels and all these kind of things, it wouldn't be better if it was made now. I know they've upgraded it, but I'm sure if it was made now it would be slightly better in that context, but I'm not an expert on those things, and to be honest, those things don't really matter to me, because what's more important is the game is interesting and the characters are interesting, the missions are interesting, and the da-da-da-da-da. So that is the least thing that matters to me. And as you can see, this is how it looks. This is just one region, and I think it looks fine. I think if you played this now, you wouldn't look at this and think, oh my god, this is dated. It's because of the way it's done. It's in a very, very particular kind of fantasy come cartoony way almost, and I think that doesn't date as much as realism can date. If realism is used in games, sometimes when that can be upgraded or when it gets more realistic, that makes it difficult, but this is not done for that. But I'll get my character to run into the sunlight a bit and you can see. I mean, I don't think there's anything really dated about how that character looks. I mean, the armour looks really fine, you can see all the details on it. She looks fine. There's a lot of character creation. You've got quite a lot of different races. There's a few humanoid ones, these kind of elfy looking ones. I won't go into what they're all called, there's different reasons but why they are what they are, but that's a whole nother story. This game's got lots of lore, by the way, and lots of backstory and lots of different races, and it's very well crafted. So yeah, like I said, I don't think it's dated at all. The combat's really good. Next thing, the map is massive. It's absolutely huge. All these little icons, the places I've found, you can see in the areas I've not been to in this playthrough. There's nothing because I've not found them yet, and I guarantee you there's places here that I've not been to. I mean, I've been to at some point in my different playthroughs, but I've not been to in this playthrough. Like, there's a whole area here I've not been, because I know there's trolls and lots of bridges and I can't be bothered. I will probably go there, but I haven't. Yeah, and these areas up here which are kind of, I don't know, Middle Earthy, like the Shire-y kind of thing in Lord of the Rings. They're kind of fieldy and kind of sunny and bright, and then there's more foresty areas around here, kind of Mirkwood, and these are kind of more desolate areas here. There's an area there that is dark with forest and it's called Webwood, so as you might have guessed, there's spiders. There's this area which is kind of marshy and a bit boggy. Then there's a whole region here of desert areas, and all on their own there's loads of things to do here. There's loads of mining and mines, and there's a big city here. There's this area here which is marshy, and there's another city here, there's another city up here. There's loads of villages as well, by the way. And there's loads of marshes and castles, and there's an area here which is similar to kind of Mordor, I suppose, but there's loads of areas here. There's castles, there's caves, there's fortresses, there's hollows, there's all manner of things to explore and do. and it's never ending. There's different factions that you can do quests for and join. There's at least 4. There's a magical one, there's a military one, there's a kind of travellers one, and there's a fae, which are kind of the elvish one. At the moment, let's just show you, I'm doing, that's the main quest. That's the 2 DLC quests, not the new one because that comes at the end of the game, but that's the 2 original DLCs, which I haven't started yet, but I could. This is the Travellers one, which I'm stealing stuff for them, and then I'll move on to the next bit. This is the one for the War Swarm, which is the kind of military mercenary one. I find their quest the most interesting, partly because, and probably mostly because, during that quest you get a companion, often called Gwyn Ornwy. You can speak to her, she's going to meet us somewhere later, and she'll join us in quite a lot of those missions, because you don't have a constant companion in this, but there's, in the main quest, there's a few different characters that join you in different bits of the mission, and in this factions quest only you get a kind of ally that goes with you quite a lot, and I like that. It's nice when you're doing all the things on your own and you get a quest line where you've got someone to sort of hang out with. So, plus there's, didn't show you, plus there's numerous side quests and other things to do. So, loads of quests, loads of faction things, loads and loads to do. There's tons of armour types, there's tons of weapon types, there's matching weapon sets and rare weapons and all these kind of things. You usually get colour based ones, and again I'll show you that just so you see. I've got a purple, which is a rare weapon, but these uncommon ones, the white are the common ones, these yellow, which I haven't got any weapons of, I've probably sold them. But these, yeah, there you go, they're sets, so you can have a whole set of things, and there's tons and tons of sets, and the sets are littered all over the place, they're not all together, you may never find the whole of a set, but that's part of the fun. I have had the whole of sets before, but you may never get the whole of a set. But that again is all part of the fun. Let's go that way. So yeah, there's always things to do. The areas are all lovely. The voice acting is fantastic. The music is fantastic. The art style is fantastic. All the areas look different, they're not just reskins of another area. Like I said, these forests and deserts and castles and bogs, and there's all manner of different things, which is really great. There's an absolutely massive, I'm just harvesting things as I go along because that's just what I do. There's a massive variety of enemies. We're going to fight some here, from trolls and other things that are size of trolls. There's loads of things. These different bandit types, these different weird little things that roll around called bogarts, and there's these spirits and sprites that fly about. There's the enemy main quest army called the Twatha. There's cultists, different kind of cultists. There's lots of these kind of animal things that kind of walk around. There's some called kobolds, which they throw bombs, and there's these things called mergen, which kind of look like fish on legs, which I'll show you because I'll just fight these just to show you. But it's absolutely, I would say in every game I've ever seen or played, this has the most enemy varieties, and they all do different things. Some of them just charge you, some of them throw weapons from different distances, some have ranged and close-up weapons, and some will be shooting you from a distance and throwing grenades while the others attack you. Some roll at you, some fire spells at you. It is just an absolutely never-ending variety. Lots of enemies die and give you loot. They won't, but, and like I said, I think these enemies look fantastic, you know. I don't think they look dated, and as you've seen maybe from that little bit of fighting, I think the combat is fantastic. There's lots of games, I'm not the best person at melee combat in games, and there's lots of games where there's so many buttons to press, there's so many things you can do this ability, that ability, parry, jump, do this ability, press that to do that extra ability, press that 3 times and then that one twice, and which are just overwhelming. And this game's got lots you can kind of do without actually having to think and press a lot of buttons, and what I mean by that is you can block, and it's really simple. You just press R2 and you blocked. You can roll, you just press circle and you roll. You can use a spell and you just press R2 and you've got your little spell book, and that's another thing. There's loads of spells you can do and things you can level up. Loads of levelling up in this as well. So it's a good game. It's probably the most fun game for melee combat I've ever played. I think after I got this, I was then playing Dragon Age Inquisition a lot at the same time. And just so you know, Dragon Age Inquisition I think is a fantastic game as well. But this is more fun. It's you don't have to, I mean, again, if you're very good at that kind of thing, maybe that's more fun. But for me, Dragon Age Inquisition, where you've got all your party members and one party member's going over there and that one's doing something you don't quite want them to do and they're getting killed. I'm just going to cut while I'm talking. It can be kind of difficult and a bit frustrating sometimes, whereas this is just you. And if you've got one other person with you, they usually, you don't control them and they just do what they need to do. So I find this much easier, and the combat, you haven't got to worry about positioning. This is a horrible thing. You can see it's another enemy type called a Cruddock, and it's a wolf. Of course you get wolves and bears in this, I forgot to mention that. So wolves, which you get in every game that you need to kill, and bears, that wolf's dead. This thing called a Cruddock is one of a lot of very unpleasant looking enemies. This one jumps and fires this kind of poisonous spit thing that sounds like flies. And it's got X-ray kind of eye things that do, it's very, looks horrible, and not in a, like the graphics horrible, I mean it looks scary and you want to kill it. It looks really terrifying. The things that are horrible in this game and that are like this, some of them look really frightening. There's another wolf. This thing is hard to kill. Some of the things wolves are always annoying, but like I said, I'll just do that again. It's easy, very easy, and I'm not concentrating at all. Okay, I know this game really well, but it's very, very easy to jump around. That wolf has got something, it's got some gold. That wolf had gold on it. It was kind of a wealthy wolf. That Cruddock thing has got, I don't even want to go back to the body, it's so disgusting. That Cruddock had the curiosities of preservation on it, so it was a fashion conscious Cruddock, if there is such a thing. So yeah, there's loads of things to do, tons of enemy types. I mean, we've just run through a little bit and we've killed Mergen, a Cruddock, a wolf. There's never-ending amounts of enemy types and things like that, which is really fantastic. There's loads of this kind of historic to the game architecture lying around. There's some more things. These are bandits. I think they're Freemason bandits. Yeah, Freemason assassins they're called. And there's loads of different types of assassins. There's some earlier called the Red Hand, I think, or the Red Legion they're called. So there's different types of bandits, and again they have ones that attack with daggers, there's some that attack with archery, and again if you attack in numbers they can be hard to kill, or sometimes they'll end up attacking you while you're fighting something else, and that can be very irritating. Those things on the ground are kind of like crab things, you don't need to kill them. You can if you want, if you're brutal, but you don't need to. There's things everywhere in this game. You'd be impossible to get bored. I mean, I've literally just run randomly around and I've found all those things. There's somewhere around here, this over there, you can see behind there's an abandoned castle. These castles that aren't abandoned. There's more assassins to kill. And the thing that's really good again about this game is there's always things to do and battles to have, so you're never bored, but equally you never feel like, oh my god, I can't take it anymore, they're killing me off, oh no, not them again, because you always feel like it's a fair battle, unless you've gone to an area where you shouldn't be and you're miles ahead of your level, but that happens in all games, of course. That skeleton has some fey blades, they're different things, I won't show you what they are, but there's loads of different sorts of weapons, these things called chakrams that you throw, they're almost like boomerangs that come back to you, these fey blades that are like two very long knives that you use, there are daggers as well, you can use stealth kills, I could talk about all the ways you can kill all the weapons in this just for one video. I would say of all the games I've ever made videos about, this would be the game that I could make the most videos about because there's just so much in it. There's hidden loot somewhere there, that little brown chest thing shows you this hidden loot. That log has an oak bow and a prismia lock, which is a really good lockpick, because there are lockpicks, but prismia locks are the ones that open everything without any effort. There's a castle, which I could go inside, but I won't, because that's something to do later. So you get the idea, there's just never-ending things to do. There's loads of stuff. The characters, even the subsidiary nothing NPC characters you bump into and have small conversations with in villages are interesting usually. They're well voiced, really well voiced, and the main characters are really, really good. I don't know if anyone knows the history of this game. I know the history of this game, so if you do know, you'll know it had a lot of history. It was the only game made by this publisher, and there's loads of history behind it. But obviously this game was first out in 2012-13, and it's a long time ago. Like I said, it's not dated, but it is a long time ago. I was surprised that it got a graphical update and a new DLC last year. Not disappointed, I was really happy. One, because it's something more for me to play and I never get bored of playing this game. Mergen, bandits, hanging out together, I don't know why. They're friends, it's nice. But also because maybe, and I'm assuming that no one would make a new DLC for a game that's 10 years old if they hadn't intended to maybe revive the franchise. And I would say, and I'm not, I'm sure there's other franchises that I've not played, because I've not played every single game by a long way, but I would say, oh, that's horrible, I don't like that. So okay, that's, that thing we just fought like a Cruddock, this is a Mergen, there's those fish looking things that are called Mergen, and also there's lots of mini bosses. There's loads of these mini bosses where there's like a kind of mini leader of a group. Sometimes you fight these Mergen on their own, which we just did, and other times you fight them and that thing there, what's it called, a Banshean, that thing is their kind of leader. They don't always have them with them, but when they do it's more difficult because they're horrible and scary and awful looking, and they create more of these fishy Mergen men. So there's always, oh that's not good, hang on, we need to need to run away a bit because I ran out of potions. I was so busy actually talking and playing the game, I hadn't been paying attention to luckily, because I would say quite good at this game and I know the game very well, I'm able to survive. If that had been a different game, I'd have been dead then. Yeah, I'm hopeful that they wouldn't revive a 10-year-old game just to make DLC and an update if I hadn't had some intention of making a new game. And of all the games I've ever played, as I was saying, and only I'm talking about the games I've played, I can't speak for others, I'm sure there are others, this is the game where it deserves a sequel. The world is fantastic, the lore is amazing, it's every bit as good as Dragon Age, for example, and I really like Dragon Age. I've played all the Dragon Age games, I really like it, so I'm not saying anything against Dragon Age. In fact, it's a huge compliment. I would say the lore in this is as good as Witcher, as good as Dragon Age. There's loads of races, there's loads of backstory, there's loads of characters. It really deserves a sequel or sequels, eh? And it would be like with games like The Witcher or other games that have been, it could easily be a TV series or a movie. I'm not saying it ever will be, of course, but the way the lore and the characters and the franchise and the factions and the races are in this game, it could easily be a TV series. And it deserves more than what it's had, which is like a 10-year-old game that was probably largely forgotten. And that's a shame. Okay, so that is that. I'm just going to go around here. We're not going to go around there. See that thing? Look at that, man. That's just not good. I don't know what it was going to do with those teeth, but rather not know. Rather not know. So yeah, it's a really good game. Everything's great. And the other thing about this game, which I think is hard to explain if you've not played it, you might get it by looking at it. It has a really warm feeling. It's partly how the graphics are, it's partly how the characters are. So even though you're fighting evil and some of the things are really scary, it has a really nice warm feeling to it. You always feel, I don't know, glad to be here. I've never come to Amalur and felt miserable or unhappy. Even when I've been fighting evil things, you always feel happy to be here. It's hard to explain unless you played it. It may be just a me thing, but this is some ruined village. There's always things to check out. Okay, that's what I was hoping was going to happen. So these are Tuatha. They're the main quest enemies. And they have a whole variety of enemies, even in their foot soldiers. There's other things they have as well, but they have demon-looking things which are really scary, big demon things. But they have foot soldiers that all have different range, and they have ones that fight close up. They have priests. So just in this, literally walking around to make a video about the game, you can see how many different enemy types I've firing things at me. What's wrong with you? When I'm talking, you can see these look completely different to the bandits, and even between each other they look different. So that one's got something on him. We'll take his leggings. He won't miss them. So anyway. That's Kingdoms of Amalur. Like I said, it's a fantastic game. I couldn't recommend it more. If you've never played it, even better, because I wish I could unplay this, go back and start again, not because I haven't enjoyed playing it, but because when I first played it, the amazement of all these different places and all the things that happened and all the different quest lines were like, oh my god. And even now I still find things that I think I don't remember that, because there's literally so much of it. But it's really a game I would find it impossible. If you like this kind of game, you couldn't not like this, and I would absolutely recommend it 100%. There's nothing against it really. It's not got anything wrong with it. There's nothing bad. It's got tons of enemy types. There's no reskinning really, or none worth noticing. The graphics, the voices, the music are all fantastic. There's a huge world, tons of stuff to do. The combat system is really fun and it's easy to pick up. Let's see what's in this well. There's a staff and a thing. Yeah, there's nothing about it I can really say that's negative actually. I literally can't think of a negative thing to say about this game. And that's how much I rate this game. So Kingdoms of Amalur, having done this video, I will do a mission at some point and just do a little mission in this game, because I think it will be just nice to do on channel. I'll find one that won't be too complicated and won't be too hard to explain what I'm doing, but I'll do a particular mission rather than just literally running around killing things. But anyway, that's been Kingdoms of Amalur. Thanks for watching Guessagaingaming. Take care for now.